The CEO helped redecorate his childhood friend's room. When the woman came home and saw the newly renovated space, she rushed to the dining room to ask her mother what had happened. Her mother simply smiled without saying anything, while her father explained that the CEO had taken care of everything. She felt deeply touched, though the truth was that her mother had actually asked the CEO to do this favor. Her mother had always put tremendous pressure on her. After she broke off her engagement and returned from the United States, her mother hadn't prioritized checking on her emotional state. Instead, she had wanted her daughter to go back to America, believing that was the only way to maintain face in front of their friends. Following an argument the previous day, her mother had begun reflecting on her own behavior. That morning, when she went to call her daughter and discovered she wasn't home, she reached out to the CEO for help. After finishing dinner, the woman walked into her room and lay on the bed, only to discover the entire ceiling covered with stars. Delighted by this surprise, she immediately called the CEO. She hadn't expected him to remember something from their childhood. As a child, she had always wanted to buy glow-in-the-dark stickers to decorate her ceiling. The CEO told her to look more carefully around the room, and she felt as though the space had been touched by magic. However, after searching for a while, she couldn't spot anything else different. The CEO then reminded her about the desk where she had once written love letters to a senior from the broadcasting club, and the bed where she had cried all night after being rejected by him. He recounted all of her embarrassing childhood memories, prompting her to quickly tell him to stop talking. The CEO then reminded her to close the curtains properly before going to sleep. Puzzled, she pulled open the curtains and found the CEO standing right outside her window. He joked that he didn't want to open his window and see her face first thing in the morning. She retorted that he wouldn't have to worry about that anymore since he no longer lived at home. However, the CEO revealed he had already moved back in, leaving her stunned. She suddenly remembered a moment from their childhood when she had been putting up star stickers and accidentally fell into the CEO's arms. Both of them had felt each other's heartbeats then, just as they did now. However, after the CEO actually moved back home, he discovered things weren't quite as wonderful as he had imagined. She constantly stayed up late at night, waking him from his sleep with the noise. The CEO opened his window and shouted at her to keep it down, but she completely ignored him, and they began arguing. Unable to win the argument, the CEO glanced through the window and noticed she was watching a horror movie. He immediately started spoiling the plot for her, then promptly shut his window and put in earplugs to sleep, no matter how much she yelled outside. The next day while the CEO was at work, he received a call from her inviting him to attend a comic convention together. The CEO declined right away, explaining he was at work. She pointed out that she knew that and had specifically suggested they go after he got off work. The CEO still refused, so she ended up inviting his friend instead. Yet when she and the friend were at the convention, the CEO showed up anyway.